Hello, my name's Andrew, and today we're doing a long-term review of my KOW slippers. So I've had these for more than a year now. They're a lightweight barefoot slipper for indoor use. They've got a leather sole and a wool bamboo blends upper. And when I originally made the review for these, I kind of planned on making more barefoot slipper reviews, but I tried like 5 different brands and I just couldn't find anything that felt good. Like a lot of them were kind of like pointy toe box or just like not that wide, or they didn't really have sustainable or ethical materials, or they weren't breathable, or just like all of the above. And so I kind of just forgot about making barefoot slipper videos, but yeah, I realize now that it's been more than a year since I first tried these, so I figured we could just kind of like take a look at the state that they're in and see if they held up, and yeah, I just want to talk about my experience wearing them. So like I said, they've got a wool bamboo blend upper, and I think this is the thing that people were most concerned about because they're like, it is softer, and but they have actually held up really well. So there are a few fuzzies around, but in general, they look pretty much like they did when I first got them. I really like this heel. I was kind of concerned about the heel because sometimes with slippers, they get really loose over time. They'll kind of like fall off of your heel. They get kind of floppy, but they have this really nice angle to the back so it holds your heel in. And then in terms of the toe box, it's actually quite wide. If you look at the back, they've got this nice squared off shape here. It gets a little rounded towards the very tip, but they're very stretchy. So like if you have wide feet, you can see what happens when I stretch out my fingers. Like there's a lot of room for it to expand there. So it kind of just takes up the shape of your foot. But it's nice for people with like medium width feet like me, because they're not slipping all over the place. They still feel really snug. And even if you wear a couple layers of socks, which is what I do a lot of the times, I'll wear a pair of Injinji merino wool toe socks. I find that this helps with slippers because it separates your toes out, especially if you're like me. Like I grew up wearing soccer cleats and track cleats, so my toes are kind of squashed together like this. And if I don't have something between my toes, they'll get sweaty. And then another reason that I like wearing merino wool toe socks with a slipper is because it keeps the slipper clean. So like the sock will get dirty, and then you can put these in the washing machine, and they don't take, you know, as much damage as something heavier like a slipper will. So I've never put these in the washing machine or dryer, even though they say that you can. I just wouldn't. I would just soak them in some soapy water, rinse them out, and then hang them up to dry because I think it's just much more gentle. But like I said, I'm still pretty impressed by how the weave has held together. You know, I really didn't expect it to, but I'm really impressed with how they've worn so far. And you can see inside of the slipper as well. It still looks pretty good in a spot which really should be wearing out more than I would expect. In terms of the stitching is still intact all the way around. There's not a single stitch that's coming out or really even fraying or anything. The back tab has worn a little bit. You can't see the lettering quite as clearly because I think it was just engraved, but not super important. They did tell me, I think a couple weeks ago or a few months ago, that they added like a left-right on the back, I think. That was the one thing that was a little bit annoying about the slippers, is like I'd look down at them and you can't really tell which one's which without looking at the sole. So I don't know, it was a small detail, it really didn't matter, but the new version has that, just FYI. In terms of breathability, they are really great for all seasons because as you can see, they've got a little bit of air. You can kind of see the light coming through there. And you know, like as they stretch, as you're moving, it opens them up just a little bit more. But then when you're just standing there, the weave is pretty close together, so they're very warm. Wool is very warm, and bamboo is also temperature regulating. So during the summer, they actually still work. Like I wear them in the morning sometime when when the floor is super cold. And you know, obviously it's hot. If it's hot, you don't really need a slipper at all. Anyways, but yeah, I don't know, cool mornings in the summer and during the fall when it starts to get cold, and especially in the winter. They do have a higher version, so more like that, more like an ankle cut, but I kind of want to get some of those, so I think I'll probably review those in the future. But what I've been doing for like winter when it gets really cold, so I'll wear like Injinjis for my bottom layer, and then I'll put like a thick smart wool. So this is kind of like the same thing. It would be a little bit more convenient to just have the higher, which I think is pretty cool, but you know. In terms of how the sole feels, like, you know, it's extremely flexible, but leather is also quite tough. You can hear, like it's got a little bit of stiffness to it, or a little bit of durability. Like I wouldn't take it outside because this is gonna get chewed up by rocks, but it can handle, like if you just went to get the mail or something on like a cool fall day, it would be fine. I just wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't walk on rocks regularly. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, I really like it. I have basically no complaints about these slippers, and they've held up really well over time. So yeah, that pretty much sums it up. But if you want to support the channel, I put referral links down below. But you can also browse and filter more products at my website, barefootwear.org, or watch my zero drop transition video to learn more about barefooting. Finally, if you have a question about the Kingdom of WoW barefoot slippers, or about barefoot shoes in general, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Peace.